Your mind has been racing all day. Thoughts keep circling, worries, regrets, plans for tomorrow. And now, as you lie in bed, you long for rest, but sleep feels so far away. Tonight, let the wisdom of the Buddha carry you into stillness. For centuries, his teachings have helped countless hearts release fear, quiet the mind, and return to peace. Imagine your worries drifting like leaves on a stream, carried gently away. Imagine each breath becoming softer and lighter, until you are cradled in silence. In the next hour, you'll hear timeless Zen stories, simple, calming, and profound. Each one is a key to letting go. Each one will help you surrender the weight of the day, so you can fall asleep with ease and awaken refreshed. So close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let us begin this journey into rest, guided by life-changing wisdom. Welcome to this journey. This is not a trip to somewhere far away, but a return to yourself, a return to the stillness that has always been there, waiting for you to listen. Out there, the long day may still echo with noise and worries, but here, at this very moment, you don't need to do anything. Just take a deep breath in, then exhale slowly. Each breath is a gentle wave, bringing you back to the calm sea within your soul. The Buddha once said, "All things are impermanent. Grasp that, and you will grasp the key to peace." Impermanence is not just an idea. It is a truth unfolding around us, in every single moment. Think of the breeze through the trees, a golden leaf drifting down, or the moon changing shape each night. Everything moves, everything changes. Long ago, in a small fishing village by the sea, there lived a man named Haru. He was known for his skill in boat building. The boats he made were sturdy and carried fishermen safely out to sea. He took great pride in his craft, but deep down, he always feared that one day the storms would destroy what he had built. Every time a storm came, Haru watched his beloved boats shake violently on the waves, anxious and afraid. He thought, if only I could make an immortal boat, one that would never rot, never break, then I could finally rest easy. One day, after a fierce storm, he saw a piece of driftwood washed ashore. The wood was old and rotting, but carved into it were the markings of an ancient craftsman. Haru picked it up and suddenly realized, every boat will eventually break apart, but the love and hands that created it still remain. In each carving, in the memories of those who once sat aboard, and in the journeys already made. The boat is impermanent, but the meaning it carried is never truly lost. From that day on, Haru no longer built boats out of fear of losing them, but from the joy of giving. He knew the boats would someday decay, and that's exactly what made them precious while they still lasted. Haru's story is also our story. We often fear loss, fear aging, fear separation. But impermanence does not come to punish us. It comes to remind us to live fully. Without impermanence, we would never know how to cherish a hug, a sunset, or a warm meal. Because things can disappear, every moment becomes infinitely valuable. Close your eyes now and bring your mind back to a beautiful memory. Perhaps the smile of someone you love, a trip you once took, or a moment of true peace. That moment has passed. It no longer exists in the physical world, but it has left an imprint in your heart. That is the gift of impermanence. Now, place your hand gently on your chest and feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. It too is a sign of impermanence, each beat different, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes strong, sometimes soft. And this very change is the sign of life. If everything stayed the same, it would mean no more movement, no more vitality. Impermanence is the flow of life itself. You can practice a simple reminder. Whenever you feel afraid of change, whisper to yourself, "Thanks to impermanence, I am able to live, to love, to learn, to grow." Do not see impermanence as an ending, but as a continuous beginning. A Zen master once said, If you understand impermanence deeply, you will know how to smile even as the flower falls. A falling flower does not disappear, it becomes the earth, becoming nourishment for a new sprout. Similarly, when one phase of life ends, another is already beginning. Imagine yourself sitting beneath a tree in late autumn. Yellow leaves swirl around you, falling one by one, spinning gently in the wind before touching the ground. You don't try to hold them back, you simply watch. And in that moment, your heart softens. That is the power of accepting impermanence. When you open yourself to this truth, sadness, fear, and loss all become teachers. They teach us to live more deeply, to love more fully, and to forgive more easily. Because you understand that nothing lasts forever, not mistakes, not pain, not even separation. Now, let your breath bring you back to this moment. Inhale, you recognize that your body is alive. Exhale, you release the desire to keep everything exactly as it is. In this breath, you are whole. When tomorrow comes, the world around you may change again. But now, you carry within you a new seed, the seed of acceptance and calm. Impermanence is no longer a source of fear, but a companion reminding you to love more today. We will continue this journey soon, but for now, you can allow your body to settle, like a river becoming still as the wind passes. Peace is not far away. It's already here, found in accepting each tiny change. Rest now in this stillness. Let your body soften, like a leaf floating gently on a stream. All the stress and heaviness of today, let impermanence carry it away. And keep only a soft smile, a heart grateful to still be flowing in this life. When you're ready, we will continue into the next part of our journey to explore the nature of suffering and how suffering can become a doorway to peace. When we've seen impermanence as the nature of all things, we arrive at another truth, one that runs deeper, the truth of suffering. The Buddha called it dukkha, a word that's difficult to translate fully, but can be understood as dissatisfaction, as the inner imbalance that human beings often feel. It's that uneasiness in the heart, the emptiness that lingers even when material life seems complete. It's when we try to hold on to happiness, but it slips away too quickly, vanishing before we can truly grasp it. Long ago, there was a young prince named Raga. He had everything: palaces, banquets, power, and praise. Yet every night, lying on a bed of gold, he still felt empty. No joy lasted long enough. One day, Raga decided to leave the palace, disguised himself as a commoner, and set out to find answers. Along the way, he met an old man sitting by the road, clutching his stomach, breathing heavily from illness. Raga stopped and asked after him, and the old man simply smiled. This is the fate of the body, all must endure it. Further ahead, he came upon a funeral procession. The sorrowful cries echoed through the valley. Raga stood frozen. He had grown up in endless celebration, but here, death exposed the fragility of human life. That night, sitting by the river, Raga whispered, "I have lived in luxury, yet I cannot escape illness, aging, and death. So where is the path to freedom from this incompleteness?" That very questioning marked the beginning of his journey toward enlightenment. Raga's story is also our story. Each of us carries cracks of suffering in our heart. Sometimes it's the fear of loss, other times the weight of loneliness, or simply a lingering feeling that nothing is ever quite enough. We think happiness lies in having more money, more love, more success. But even when we attain these things, the unease remains. The Buddha pointed out that the root of suffering does not lie in external events, but in our desires and attachments. We suffer not because spring passes, but because we want it to stay. We suffer not because our loved ones change, but because we cannot accept that change. If suffering is a truth, what should we do? Run away from it? Hide it? No. The only way is to face it. When we dare to face our suffering, we realize it's not as terrifying as we thought. Suffering is like a crying child. If we turn away, the crying only grows louder. But if we pick the child up, hold it, and soothe it, the crying slowly fades. You can try this now. Think of something from today that made you uncomfortable. A careless word, an unfinished task, or a feeling of loneliness. Instead of pushing it away, sit quietly and whisper, "I see you. I know you're here." You don't need to fix it right away. Just recognize it. In doing so, you give your suffering space to soften. A Zen master once said, "Don't be afraid of the dark, for it is in the dark that seeds begin to sprout." So it is with suffering. It is the soil that, if nurtured, gives rise to understanding and compassion. When you've known loss, you learn to cherish presence. When you've been lonely, you know the value of a warm embrace. Imagine every sorrow as a small stone in a stream. Water can flow around it, stumble against it, but over time, the current smooths it out, shaping it into a rounded pebble. Likewise, every suffering, if we are patient and attentive, becomes understanding, becomes tenderness. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. As you exhale, release one worry you've been holding. It won't disappear instantly, but in this moment, you've allowed yourself to be a little lighter. Suffering is not the end. It is a bell of awakening. It reminds us that we've forgotten ourselves, forgotten the present, and have been chasing something far away. When we hear that bell, we can return, place a hand on our heart, and smile. I'm still here. I still have this life. Life does not promise us a path without suffering, but it offers us something even greater, the ability to transform suffering into growth. Just as mud gives birth to the lotus, our wounds and losses can make us deeper, more loving beings. You can try a simple habit. Whenever difficulty arises, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That question opens a new doorway. When you look at suffering with the eyes of understanding, it is no longer an enemy, but a teacher. It teaches you patience, acceptance, and above all, love. Because when you understand that everyone suffers, your heart will naturally soften toward those around you. Let this moment be a practice. Think of someone you once resented or blamed. See them with new eyes. They too are suffering. And when you see their pain, your own heart will feel a little lighter. The Buddha taught, suffering is a truth, but it is not the final truth, meaning that beyond suffering, peace always awaits, just as after the rain, the clear sky returns. As you drift into sleep tonight, let your worries and sorrows rest with you. Remember that suffering does not define you. It is only a passing guest, and like all guests, it will come and go. In this breath, you are enough. You don't need to become anyone else. You just need to be here. Suffering may knock at your door, but you always have the choice in how you open to it. Breathe gently, deeply, and allow every fiber of your body to melt into relaxation. Give yourself permission to be at ease, to rest. Tonight, in the calm of darkness, you can set your burdens down. Tomorrow, suffering may still be there, but you will meet it with a different heart, steadier, kinder, freer. And when you're ready, we will take the next step of the journey, to explore the truth of non-self, the ever-changing nature of I, and the secret of true freedom. When we've seen impermanence as the nature of all things, the Buddha reveals to us another truth, one that runs deeper, suffering, known in Pali as dukkha. Suffering is not only obvious pain, but also the sense of incompleteness, the inner imbalance that people always carry within. Whether rich or poor, powerful or ordinary, everyone experiences moments of unease, a sense of emptiness that cannot be easily named. During the Buddha's lifetime, there was a woman named Kisa Gotami. She gave birth to her only son. Her love for him was so deep that her entire life revolved around the child. But one day he fell ill and passed away. Kisa Gotami was devastated. She held her son's body in her arms, going door to door, begging someone, anyone, to bring him back to life. People sympathized, but no one could help, until someone directed her to the Buddha. Kisa Gotami knelt before him, placed her child's body at his feet, and tearfully begged for his help. The Buddha looked at her with deep compassion and said, "Very well, I will help you. But first, bring me a mustard seed from a household that has never experienced death." Kisa Gotami ran off immediately, her heart filled with hope. But at every house she heard the same reply: "We too have lost someone, from wealthy families to the poor, from the young to the old. All had experienced separation." The farther she went, the more she realized that her pain was not unique, but part of the shared fate of humanity. When she returned to the Buddha, her hands were empty. She knelt before him, tears streaming down. But this time, they were not tears of desperation. She said, "Lord, now I understand. There is no home untouched by loss. Death is the common path of all living beings." From that day on, Kisa Gotami let go of her son's body, asked to be ordained, and later became one of the female disciples who attained liberation. That story reminds us, suffering is a truth no one can escape. But when we face it directly, instead of denying it, we begin to see that our pain is not isolated. Everyone walks through birth, aging, sickness, and death. Everyone has known loss, and it is this understanding that opens the heart to compassion. The Buddha taught, suffering is a truth, but it is not the final truth. This means suffering can become a gateway to wisdom and to love. Just as mud gives rise to the lotus, it is through our wounds and our losses that we learn to value life and to love what is here, right now. After clearly seeing the truths of impermanence and suffering, the Buddha leads us to an even deeper doorway, non-self, the truth that what we call I or mine is merely a temporary combination of many elements. One day, a monk came to the Buddha and asked, "Blessed One, if there is no real self, then who is walking, who is standing, who is practicing?" The Buddha replied with a question of his own. "Venerable, the cart you often see on the road, is it the wheel, or the axle, or the frame? Or?" The monk answered, "Blessed One, no. The cart is not just the wheel, nor just the frame. It is the combination of all those parts." The Buddha nodded. "In the same way, what you call I is simply the combination of body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. When each part is examined on its own, you find no fixed self. There is only process, there is only activity, no unchanging entity." In another story, when Prince Raga, the Buddha's son, was still a young novice, the Buddha brought him to a well and pointed to a basin of clear water. He asked, "Raga, do you see this water?" "Yes, Father, I see it." "Now look at your reflection in it." Raga looked and nodded. Then the Buddha poured the water out. The basin was now empty. He said, "Your mind is the same. When it is attached to the idea of I, it is full of clinging. But when you let go of the notion of self, your mind becomes empty, clear. This body is not the self. This feeling is not the self. Everything changes. Everything is impermanent." Upon hearing these words, Raga bowed his head, his heart suddenly illuminated. Non-self does not mean we do not exist. It means we do not exist as a separate, independent, unchanging entity. The I is just a process. The breath coming and going, emotions arising and fading, thoughts forming and dissolving. When we understand this deeply, we feel much lighter. We no longer need to defend a fragile ego. We no longer suffer when others hurt our pride or sense of self. We begin to live like a river, flowing, flexible, and free. The Buddha taught, when one sees that the five aggregates are not the self, the mind lets go of all clinging, and in that moment, peace arises. As is see the lava, wary move, is Letty J, when we have clearly seen impermanence, suffering, and non-self. The Buddha opens the final door, the path that ends suffering. He did not only point to the root of suffering, he also gave us a practical way out, known as the Noble Eightfold Path, 8 steps that lead to peace and liberation. Long ago, there was a young man named Angulimala. Misled by a false teaching, he became a murderer, spreading fear wherever he went. But one day, Angulimala met the Buddha. Instead of punishing him, the Buddha simply stood still and looked at him with boundless compassion. That gaze alone caused Angulimala to fall to his knees, drop his weapon, and beg to follow the Buddha as a student. By walking the path of right practice, the bloodthirsty man became a gentle monk, caring for the sick and living a peaceful life. This story shows us, no matter our past, the Buddha's path is always open. And that path is the Eightfold Path, not something we complete once and for all, but a daily practice, step by step. Right view, seeing reality as it is, impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. Right thought, cultivating compassionate thoughts, letting go of hatred. Right speech, speaking truthfully, kindly, and in ways that bring peace. Right action, acting in ways that do not cause harm to self or others. Right livelihood, earning a living honestly and ethically. Right effort, consistently planting wholesome seeds and releasing harmful habits. Right mindfulness, being present in each step, breath, and task. Right concentration, maintaining a focused and stable mind, free from distraction. The Buddha said, "This path is like a raft that carries one across the river of delusion to the shore of awakening." You can try this in daily life. When you take a slow, mindful breath, that is right mindfulness. When you choose not to say a hurtful word to a loved one, that is right speech. When you work with sincerity and honesty, that is right action. And each small step, taken with care, forms the greater path that gently leads us out of suffering. Walking this path does not require perfection. All it asks is that we return, again and again, to our breath, to loving thoughts, to honest living. This path is not somewhere far away. It is found in the way we see, the way we think, the way we speak, the way we live, every single day. Through the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha showed humanity that suffering is not destiny. It can be transformed. And peace is not something distant. It begins with one mindful step, with one smile of understanding, with one heart that learns to love itself and others.